Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm also David, David's dad. Welcome to the Bull and the Cub podcast. This father-son podcast is designed to educate the next generation of investors on how to invest in the stock market. Each episode will be a short lesson, 7 minutes or less, with specific lessons for investing. Then, a fun competition game at the end that everyone can participate in. Okay, so for today's intro podcast, David, what are we going to talk about today?
I feel like we should talk about the most obvious thing, which is when do you buy stocks?
That's
and
right.
how do you figure out when it's the stock is high, is going to go up, and when the stock is going to go down?
Okay, so you tell us first. What is it that you look at when you're trying to determine what stock to buy and whether it's going to go up or down?
Well, I look at a lot of information, but to start, I feel like the first thing you should always do is, first, never trade cryptocurrency because it's so volatile they can't figure it out, and you just kind of have to have luck. But the best way, is to look at many news articles and understand how the people think.
Right. Well, that's a really good point because to me, you establish the first rule of investing, which is, right, what is public behavior going to be like with regard to a particular stock? If lots of people in the public buy a stock, it will go up. If lots of people sell the stock, then the price will go down. And so your job as investors is to figure out, okay, what is it that's going to, what are people going to do? You're trying to predict behavior. So for example, let's use Tesla as an example. When Donald Trump won the election, well, we saw Tesla stock went up significantly, right? Because simply Elon Musk had a good relationship with Donald Trump, so people thought his business will do well under Donald Trump. Now, there's no statistics so far. There's no earnings report or tangible data to say the company's making more money, but there's a prediction people are making that the company will do well. And so if you think people are going to invest more in a company because certain news comes out, then you want to invest in that company and watch the stock go up. Or the same if you think news comes out and that's going to cause people to back away from the company.
I completely agree. I also have a couple other reasoning. Is a lot of people, since people are the reason a stock will go up and down, not really the company, just people's thoughts, you kind of have to get in the people's head. For example, this is just an example, some person sold around $7 million in shares of a certain kind of stock because it was doing really well. But people instantly presumed that meant that the stock would crash, and people started selling their stock because they were worried it was going to crash, and that very much decreased the value. The thing is, the person who sold the stock just sold it because they thought they were already making a lot of money. Why should we risk making more money? Losing it all. Which is why you have to try and get in the people's head. You have to understand what they will think. But also, you have to use that as an opportunity. For example, when I saw that happen, I saw the stock going down in that particular event, I bought the stock because it went from $80 to $60. So it was pretty far down for a bigger company stock. So I found that as a time to buy it. And surely, a couple days later, it went back up to $81 because people realized it wasn't such a big deal.
Well, that's a great point you bring up. So that brings up our second rule of buying and selling stocks, which is keep it simple. Buy low, sell high. You want to buy stock when it's low and then sell it when the price moves up and goes high. And so your example you were giving with Palantir was a great example. You doubled down when the Palantir stock went down and everybody panicked and sold. You said, well, the price is low, I'm going to buy. And so just keep it simple with stocks is our other rule.
But that's not the only case. Also, sometimes most companies I invest with this won't happen since they won't go bankrupt. But a lot of companies, people start going down. People are buying it, right? It keeps going down, and they just keep buying more, and they just keep losing more money. The thing is, you want to also realize why the person it was going down. Like when Palantir went down, it was only because someone had sold their stock, which isn't that big of a deal. But in some cases, if they have a big test they were trying to do, it didn't fail, or if in Tesla case if they didn't come up with, if their new car failed or something, all of this would be very valid reasons and for the stock to go down. So you shouldn't exactly buy it then. you should only buy it when you think it's going to go back up.
That's a really good point. So that brings up our third and final rule, which you're talking about, which is you've got to learn more information about the company you're going to invest in. You want to know, read about it in the news. What's going on with the company? Because to your point, if there's positive news going on with the company, then that company is going to be trending upward, and they're a good company to invest in. Conversely, if there's negative news going on about the company, right, something they tried to invent didn't work out so well, they have some safety issues, any kind of bad publicity that they have in the news, then that company's trending downwards. So you want to be aware, like you're saying, of what's going on in the news with that particular company. So those are our first 3 rules for investing. Keep it simple, buy low, sell high. Try to figure out what public behavior is going to do, and then learn more about the company you're investing in.
Yeah. Are you ready for the challenge of the week? I think I'm ready.
I think we're ready. So let's set up the parameters for the game with our weekly game. You want to tell everybody how it's going to go?
Okay, so basically, everybody, you guys can do it too, will pick a stock. It doesn't matter how much money went up, it matters the percentage. So people can't just pick the biggest stock, most expensive stock, and then say, oh, it went up a lot. It has to be percentage. And by the end of the week, from Monday through Friday, whoever stock went up the most wins.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to pick a stock each Sunday night episode, and we'll let you know who won between David and I for the next episode, and you all can pick as well. Feel free to send us in the chat or comment section your stock pick. David, you want to go first, or you want me to tell you?
You can go first.
Okay, so my stock, keeping with our theme, right, of trying to predict public behavior, I'm looking at what's going on in the news and what's coming up. The Super Bowl is coming up. And what do people do during the Super Bowl? Well, they throw parties and buy lots of snacks. The snack aisle at the grocery store is filled with people buying chips and soda and dips. And so I think people are going to gravitate towards snack stocks. And so what is one of the largest ones out there? Well, PepsiCo is not just a soda company, but it also is the parent company for various chip brands, Lay's, Fritos. And so I think PepsiCo is going to have people flocking to it in advance of the Super Bowl. I'm going to invest in PepsiCo this week.
That's a great investment. I also have an idea. My idea is also kind of like yours, but more with like a disaster that's causing something. Mercury is a insurance stock, and their stock went from $77 to $49 because of the LA wildfires. But I feel like after a while, I feel like their stock's going to go back up after a while because Mercury has always been doing well. So that's why I'm going to pick Mercury as stock.
Oh, I get it. Once this disaster period passes. Okay,
yeah.
I like that type of thinking. Okay, so we'll see who wins at the end of the week, and then thank you everybody for joining us on our inaugural introduction episode. And we'll be here every Sunday with a new episode where we'll bring you some tips and some specific stocks that we'll talk about. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.